Hello, Monkees fans. Welcome back to another Podcast Valley Sunday. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Paco.
I'm the other host, Jeff Cameron.
How's it going, Jeff?
Hey, okay. How about you, Paco?
Going well. Doing pretty well, actually. This is our first actual quarantined episode, real episode.
Yeah.
So you were looking at each other through grainy Nintendo graphics.
Yeah.
And we'll see how this goes.
Right on.
All right, so we'll get right into it. This is Alias, Micky Dolenz, episode 25, directed by Bruce Kessler, written by the big trio, Gerald Gardner, Dee Caruso, and Dave Evans. Aired on March 6th, 1967.
This is 2 days before Micky Dolenz's birthday when it
really?
It aired. Yeah. So, it's a pretty good time to be Micky Dolenz, I think, around this.
How old was he at this time?
He was 22. He's turning 22. His song's on the top of the charts, and he's on TV.
Yeah, and for him, too, being an actor,
Uh-huh.
looking into the Monkees, cool, another acting gig about a band, this will be wicked. And then it exploded into this whole musical thing, and all of a sudden he's, in a rock band at the top of the charts. It's out of nowhere kind of thing.
So he's the king of all media in March 1967.
He is. No, that's amazing. That'd be a great time to be Micky Dolenz, I bet.
100%. And like we've said, this is the first Mickey episode.
Exactly.
They've had to throw him in a dress now and then or whatever, but he hasn't really had to do the heavy lifting yet. And here we go. Yeah,
I know. I thought that as well. Finally, he gets to sink his teeth. And I think also, we'll talk about it all later, but Davy not being there definitely helps. But
so, moving on.
Yeah. So episode opens up, Mickey pulling up in the monkey mobile, and you see that parachute on the back. So choice. It's awesome. And a guy comes up to him, and he just says, "It's you." And he asks when he got out. And Mickey tries to talk to him, but the guy's all scared of Mickey. And then when Mickey gets too close, the guy starts hitting him with a rolled up newspaper and saying I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Beating the crap out of Mickey.
Little doink sounds too, cartoony doink sounds that this piece of paper is making. Yeah,
it keeps it from being too violent and scary, I guess. But it's also I didn't know who was saying I'm sorry the first time I watched it. I didn't know if it was Mickey apologizing to him while he was getting beat up.
Yeah.
But anyway, go into the intro right after that.
Yeah, 30 seconds in.
It was a really quick one.
Yeah. It creates suspense. What's going to happen? You got to wait till after the intro, kids.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if on the Monkees, after the intro went right into the episode, or if it went to commercial.
I think it probably went to commercials.
Mike and Mickey are outside of the police station, and Mike is telling him that he needs to report this guy.
He didn't mean any harm. What violence? He's just a typical psychopathic killer.
Then they walk into the station, and Mike is carrying his guitar case under his arm, which is weird, but it comes up later. Mickey walks up to a cop behind a desk, and the cop says, "It's you! It's him!" And then he raises his hands, and then all the cops kind of freak out because Mickey's there. And he tells him he wants to report a beating, and the cop asks if he killed him. And then Mike introduces Mickey to the cop.
"This is Micky Dolenz of the Monkees, thank you."
And the cop says, "You mean you're not Babyface?"
Oh, my mother used to call me Goo-Goo Eyes.
And the cop shows Mike and Mickey a picture of a gangster who looks exactly like Mickey.
Yeah. Oh, ugly. Oh, that guy is ugly.
And then the cop pulls out a mirror, and then Mickey realizes that they look the same. Cop says he's the most vicious killer in America, Babyface Morales. And Mickey tells him that they got... Oh, and he tells Mickey that they got Babyface, but not his crew or the loot. He wants Mickey to pose as Babyface to get the hoods and the goods.
"We want you to get the goods and the hoods."
Oh, I see. Well, they want me to get the goods and the...
No. He said get the goods with the hoods. You first take the goods and the goods. The goods and the hoods on the hoods.
And it really seems like this cop put this plan together really fast. This guy comes in, looks like Babyface. He's like, "Okay, we're going to use you to get in there, get all the stuff."
And I like Mike's extreme close talking.
Yes.
I don't know if it's for the shot or whatever. "Okay, Mike, here's your mark. 3 inches away from Mickey, so we get you both in the shot." And they do this a lot on the show.
Yeah, they really do. It was the full screen versus widescreen. Now they'd have some room. They could social distance. Now that you bring up Mike too, I really feel Mike flourishes in this episode in a big way. These next two episodes, really, he's super funny in these two things. I think he's starting to get over it, which is making him really giver. Mike's incredibly against this idea, and the whole time the cop's talking, he's just shaking his head no, because he knows what's going to happen. He knows it's going to be nuts, and Mickey doesn't really want to do it either. He tells the cop, like, I'm not going to do this. The cop tells him to be careful out there because Babyface has a lot of enemies. Because Babyface has a lot of enemies, and he could get hurt with a face like that. And Mickey says that he never gets hurt, and then he walks into a wall instantly. He's like, I never get hurt. Boom. Monkeys move. And then as Mickey and Mike are leaving, you can see some hippies getting arrested in the background of the cop shop. They've got like signs that say peace and stuff. Oh. And Mike picks up his guitar case like it's a gun, and everybody freaks out. And so they go outside, and Mickey's walking down the police station steps, and a car goes by, and this dude pops out the window and starts shooting at him like crazy. And so Mickey gets to go full Mickey, and he's jumping around all the steps. And then he runs inside, and he's jumping all over the office. He jumps on top of the filing cabinet.
Do whatever you can, Mick. Just go nuts.
Yeah, exactly. And then he sits down, and he asks the cop what he can do next. And also, where's Mike? He goes outside, comes inside, never sees Mike again.
No, and from this point on, it's just Mickey for a long time in this episode.
Yeah, especially because they double him up too. It's like all the Mickey you can handle.
Yeah, for real.
So the cop tells him he has to learn all of Babyface's mannerisms, and he says, well, who's going to teach me that? And the cop gives him a look, and then we're in a prison cell, and we see a dude laying there dressed like the black and white prison stripes, and he rolls over as Babyface, right? So it's Mickey. Yes. He's like Mickey on lewds, Babyface. What's up, man?
Hey, haven't I seen you somewhere before?
So Mickey walks past him, and Babyface says he looks familiar.
You look like me, sneaky and vicious.
And Mickey tells him that he's his cousin from Sandusky, Ohio.
Hilarious.
So it's Babyface Dolenz, I guess, not Morales. Unless it's the other side of the family, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Well, yeah, I wonder if why they say Mickey in the show is from Ohio when we know Mickey is from California. Yeah. Maybe just to make it seem a little more wholesome than
maybe they're trying to get the whole country in. Like you got the southern guy with Mike, the western guy Peter, so we're gonna put Mickey Midwest. And
Davy's from Connecticut.
And, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm walking here. Oi, I'm walking here. Are you talking to me? There's no one else here.
Fantastic.
So anyway, Babyface then just like teaches Mickey to act like Babyface.
And like, get this, because this is some pretty complicated acting going on. And it reminds me of, I don't know if you saw I Know That Voice, the movie about voice actors.
Oh, yes, I did.
They talk a lot about Mel Blanc. And not only did he do all the voices of all the Looney Tunes, sometimes he's called upon to do not only Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, but also Daffy Duck impersonating Bugs Bunny and how that would sound and kind of
that was very interesting.
Mix it up. But like, here's Mickey. He has to be Mickey. He has to be Babyface, and he has to be Mickey, sort of like trying to figure out how to be Babyface. And he's got it's not easy.
No, yeah, I thought that as well. That this kind of shows Mickey's chops a little bit in acting. He's not just being zany Mickey. He's getting to be actually. I don't know. He gets show chops. Kind of like when Davy got to be nice Davy with his grandfather or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And where's the
or Prince and the Pauper Davy? Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. But where's the interview with the guy who plays Mickey's back in this one? That's what I wanted.
I thought the exact same thing. Why are they talking to this guy? Because he's one of the Martians. He's one of the 4 Martians.
Oh, really?
That's all their stand-ins.
Oh, that's got to be true.
So I'm wondering, but yeah, I thought that as well. They should have his commentary. Might not be as crazy as Rodney on the Rock.
Right. And just for funsies, I looked up the other major split screen uses like this when they have the line in the middle. And remember the Parent Trap?
Oh, yeah.
That was 1961. I
That
thought
was
it
like
was
the
later
first.
in the 60s.
Yeah.
But that was the first time, 1961. Then the Patty Duke show from like 63 to 66. Patty Duke played identical cousins using the similar technology.
Wow.
And then in about right around the same time was the evil Spock episode of Star Trek where Spock's got the goatee. And they use, you're not familiar, and they use similar technology, and probably the exact same equipment, because I think, Star Trek was on NBC, so they probably had to shoot this episode and then slide the shit down to Kirk and Spock to do the evil Spock episode of Star Trek.
And you could see for the monkeys here, they probably, after doing Prince and the Pauper, they were like, oh, we could do this again. They did it very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But you could tell that they were then like, ooh, okay, we can pull this off. And it looks cool and works well. So Mickey shows Babyface what he's learned, and he ends up smacking him in the face. He's like, oh, I just got carried away. Babyface tells him now he's going to get carried away. And he just starts roughing up Mickey and beating the crap out of him. So back in the office, the cop tells Mickey he's got to go to the Purple Pelican to meet up with Babyface's crew. And Mickey asks how he's going to know it's them. And the cop starts showing him pictures. And starting with Tony Ferrano, a.k.a. Big Tony, a.k.a. Tony the Rock, a.k.a. Tony the Slasher, a.k.a. Kissing Clyde.
Kissing Clyde?
In Detroit, he committed extortion, illegal entry, and headed up the numbers racket there. Then he quit the police department and joined up with Babyface.
And then he shows him a picture of Muggsy Rickizer, right? Muggsy Rickizer, a.k.a. Muggsy Ruck, a.k.a. Muggsy Reynolds, a.k.a. Sherry Fingerhead. And none of that is ever put together. Like what it is. So the cop just tells Mickey good luck and good hunting. And Mickey does not look happy. And he gives like a little look to the camera. It's like a little pullback.
When the camera's moving and Mickey's like...
Yeah, it's fading out. He kind of looks over his shoulder at it.
It's funny. It's good times.
Yeah, no, it's great.
And also, when the guys talk about the gangsters, it's revealed that even back in the late 60s, Detroit was a crooked nightmare shit show.
Yeah, I wonder if Detroit was ever like a wholesome place, or if it just started out like grumpy.
Doesn't seem to be.
No, it's tough history. So at the Purple Pelican, Mickey's dressed like Babyface, and everyone notices him. And when he sits down, one of the waitresses, she's like, why aren't you going to give your ruby a kiss? And he just kisses his ring. That's a ruby. She grabs him and tells him to kiss her like he used to. It's hard to say. And they have a big kiss, and then Mickey breaks character for a second. And he's just Mickey because he got to kiss this girl.
Yeah.
And must have been like, oh, this is what's like for Davy every episode. And
did you look up who Ruby was?
I did.
It says she's Maureen Arthur, and I guess she used to host the Tonight Show from time to time, back around this time.
Oh, really? I didn't know. I didn't see that. That's interesting. It's a bigger deal than I'd expected. And her picture on IMDb is from like the 60s.
Yeah.
Whereas like you'll see in the next episode, the guy who plays Dragon Man or whoever, his picture's from like 1923. It looks like. So Mickey tells Ruby that he's the only one she can trust, the only person in the world, and he's got to tell her something. She's like, what is it, Babyface? He's like, can I trust you? And then he tells her that he's there to get the ice from the old crew, and she says that Tony's the new top dog, and that he's probably not going to give Babyface his cut. And then Mickey tells her he has a book with names and dates in a locker at the bus depot. And he gives her a key and he says, put this in a safe place. And then she puts it like down between her boobs.
It's in a safe place, Ruby.
Which is either a lot of people get down there or it's just not safe enough.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a ton of keys. There's a ton of keys down there. And he asks where Tony and the guys are, and she says they're right behind you. And he turns around, and they're right there. And he says, "There's no way you're getting your cut, Babyface. You're has-been."
No, Tony. I was a has-been. Now I'm an am-is.
That killed me. That killed me. I think that's so funny. It makes me want somebody to call me a has-been so I can say I'm an am-is.
For real.
So Tony tells the boys to take him, and some girls scream. And it's not a Monkees romp. It's a Mickey romp. Because he's the only one in it. And but it's to the kind of girl I could love, which is good to hear. Because you haven't seen, or you haven't heard that song yet, I don't think.
I think they did it once or twice.
Oh, did they?
They do it on stage at one point.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. And so, but the romp opens with a cool slow motion shot of a bottle being smashed on a table. And then that's when one of the girls comes out of the ladies' room, grabs a bottle of booze, and runs back in. And there's like, Mickey kisses Ruby, he faints. Tony's like fighting everybody. The dude's getting thrown around. It's like a typical romp kind of thing.
Yeah.
A lot of bottles. What's that?
It's a bit of a continuity nightmare.
Oh, 100%.
There's stuff that happened, and then people are gone, or people are missing, or people are whatever.
Oh, yeah, because Ruby is fighting a girl who looks like her, but then she's also passed out on the floor beside Mickey. And yeah, it's just kind of crazy. And Mickey keeps going to kiss Ruby, like a passed out Ruby, but he can't do it because she's passed out, which is good to see. He's not a creep. He's not a creep show. So then at the end of the romp, everybody's like knocked unconscious essentially, except for Tony and the henchman. And so they say, okay, Babyface, you're the boss. And Mickey tells him to meet in the back room. And so then when he walks into the back room, we just like follow his feet. And it's like stepping over all these different people, all passed out. He gets to a door, and he opens up the door, and there's a bunch of girls screaming, and all these girls run out. And it's the ladies' room door. He opened up the wrong door.
Oh, shit.
Before he opens the door, though, there's like a jump cut. Because like they didn't... It's another take of the feet running out, but they didn't want to redo the tracking shot walking over everybody again. So just like, well, whatever. Just Mickey, stand kind of where you were, and we'll go from there.
You're not passed out, Paco. All those people are dead. Okay? This is a gangster situation.
That is true. There's a bunch of dead Mickeys walking over corpses.
It's a kid's show.
Yeah. So they go to the back room, and then Mickey sits down, and Muggsy asks when he got out. Mickey says that he broke out yesterday. And Tony says how they didn't see him with the searchlights.
Nah, I fixed it so that searchlights was useless.
How did you do that?
Busted out in the daytime.
And he says that there's been some changes since he went away. And then Mickey pulls out a gun, points at him, says, change it back. And Mickey says they need to get the diamonds, split them up, and go undercover. And he's going to get some specialists to help them. And they'll meet back up in the back room. Muggsy says, why don't we meet at the place that we have the stash? And Tony's like, oh, you remember where we stashed the diamonds, don't you?
Sure, I remember the place. Know that place as well as I know my own name.
And Mickey takes a drink of some like whiskey or something, and he just coughs his ass off. Doesn't look cool. And he leaves. And then Tony says he feels like there's something fishy going on here. And then he tells the goons to go tail Mickey. I feel like there's a lot happening in this episode. This one and the next one as well, because all the boys are split up. They're all together, kind of. They keep things moving in one spot, but they're going back and forth between things.
It's true.
But anyway, so Mickey back at the Monkees pad, and he's talking to the cop on the phone, confirmed that he's going to have specialists ready to go. And then Peter says he doesn't need specialists because he has Mike and Peter. And it's like, well, no, he doesn't want to get them in any trouble. He starts to talk shit about Tony and what a jerk and a horrible person he is. And then he walks right into them, and Tony and all the henchmen are standing in the living room. It's like, come on, boys. You got to tighten up your security here.
Why do all the gangsters know where the Monkees live?
Well, see, they tailed him, though.
Oh, they tailed him.
They tailed him. So that's how they...
And by the way, I think this was about 16 minutes in, and Peter shows up. It's the first time we get to see Pete in this episode. From the 4-minute mark to this was about 16 minutes in. It's just Mick. So like 12 minutes of the episode. Half the episode is just Mickey doing stuff.
Man, that's crazy. Like, yeah, I wonder if the other guys just had the week off or something. Davy's not there.
Right.
But they're just like, just put everything on Mickey. We'll put 2 of them in the episode.
Yep.
Doesn't even matter. So Tony tells Mickey he decided that because Babyface is so hot, like I assume like on the cops' radar, not attractive. That they should pick up the stuff tonight. And,
Could be both.
Yeah, maybe. So Mickey protests, but he loses quickly.
I decided we were gonna pick up the stuff tomorrow night, and what I say goes because I'm the boss, and anything you can say or do that's gonna change that. We pick it up tonight. I'll get my coat.
And then Tony asks Mike and Peter if they're the specialists, and they say yep, and they all just run out the door. And so first of all, how did Goon Tony, Muggsy, or Goon 3 not hear these guys talking about what's going on? Why is Babyface hanging out with these kids in a weird hippie house?
Yeah. They met him in jail, you know.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I had half a lid on me. After the door closes, the red phone is ringing, and we see it's the cop at the station. He's trying to get in touch with Mickey because he wants to tell him that the real Babyface has escaped, and he's out to get him.
Bullshit.
And it's like, see, cell phones, you could just let Mickey know. But back in the day, when you left the house, you were gone. You're off the radar. You got murderers coming to get you? Too bad. They're going to get you. So at the Purple Pelican, where the real Babyface shows up and Ruby kisses him, he tells her that he busted out. And she's like, yeah, you already told me this. She says that, why aren't you out picking up the ice with Tony and the boys? And then he grabs her face. And he turns it to him. And when they do it, they add like a crack, like a chiropractic crack sound, which I find hilarious.
Shouldn't you be out with Tony picking up the diamonds?
Tony's picking up the diamonds?
And so now the boys, the monkeys, and the gangsters show up at the big mansion. And it's, which mansion do you think this is? From which other episode?
Oh, Christ. The exploding desk one?
Yeah,
or the Maltese Vulture one, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of them for sure.
They've been here before. It feels familiar.
Yeah. And so Muggsy says it's a great idea to hide the diamonds in the place we stole them from. You know, brilliant.
What the fuck? That's not a great idea.
No. But to Muggsy it is. So they go to the fireplace, but Mickey doesn't know where he hid it because he's been in prison so long because all he sees is bricks. So he doesn't remember what brick it's hidden behind.
Mm-hmm.
Because then Mike says that Babyface doesn't need to remember because he brought a specialist with him. He says that he's going to put the dynamite around the fireplace. And then boom.
Boom! Boom! Like, I think the point of Peter being in this episode is so Mike can scream boom in his face. Like,
yeah.
Mike's doing the close talk.
Yeah, exactly.
And Peter genuinely reacts like he has hearing damage after Mike screams in his face. This is what most of what Peter does in this episode.
So Muggsy, Mickey, and Goon 3 seem fine, but Tony's on to them. Mike and Peter set the charge in the fireplace, and they all back up and get low, and Mike pushes the plunger down, and the piano explodes behind them.
He says, this is for you, Dale, he says. And I wonder, what does that mean? Is that Dale Caruso?
Ooh, that's a good question.
This is for you, Dale.
Maybe, but then they blow up piano or whatever instead.
Yeah, they blow up the piano. And then Tony says the experts stink, and the goons take over, and they just start tearing it apart with their hammers and stuff. It sounds like a jackhammer. So suddenly this crazy inept cop shows up, and he's just like, "Oh, I saw lights were on. I know that no one else is supposed to be here." And then Mike runs over to him, and they're kind of talking about it. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm so glad I stopped here because I have these tickets to the policeman's ball." And then Mike buys the whole pack of tickets to this policeman's ball, and then the guy leaves. But you can see when the cop leaves, he does look down and sees the goons. Like, the actor in him just kind of looks down and looks at the guys and walks out. Might be why we didn't see him in anything else. So then all of a sudden the real Babyface shows up, and then Mickey goes to the door, and we revisit the groundbreaking Prince and the Pauper split screen.
Yes.
The two of them talking to each other. And Tony says that only one can be the real Babyface, and the other is an imposter. And so it's like, I see why he's number 2. He's so smart. He figured out that only one of them could be one of them. And so both Babyfaces say they're the real Babyface. And then the actual Babyface asks him, "Okay, talk about what jobs we pulled together." And he asks who drove the getaway car, and Babyface says Steve Blauner. Yeah. But Mickey says it almost at the same time.
Steve Blauner.
And And then Tony asks what Steve did wrong, and Mickey says he hit a cop. And Babyface, well, that was in the papers. And then Peter says,
He's got you there, Mickey.
Oh, Mickey!
God, Pete.
freaking Peter.
That's why we left you at home most of the show.
Yeah. And the mic makes a hilarious sound when they get outed. And so then Mickey turns off the lights, and there's a melee in the dark. You don't know what's going on. And then the cop from earlier shows up. And Peter, Mike, and Mickey have the goons like under a sheet, kind of. That's what they wrapped them up in. The sheet put them over their head, and that incapacitated them.
Oh, yeah.
And they get taken away. And not much of a fight was put up, I guess, by these goons. The cop says, oh, you guys helped recover the biggest jewel heist in history. And he hands out some jewels to them all as a reward.
Yeah.
And Mike says with such sincerity,
I've always wanted a necklace, man.
and he seems so happy about this necklace. And then it ends with Mickey looking at the camera and saying, what am I going to do with one earring? And then, do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
What am I gonna do with an earring?
That's how that ends. And back at the police station, the cop tells Mike that the inept cop called the real cops when he saw that the lights were on, and that he knew that he had to come to that house. And they got the bad guys and got the loot, but there's only one loose end. And you turn, and it's like Mickey and Mickey.
Yeah, this
I'm the real Mickey. He's not. Blah, blah, blah. And that's how. That's essentially the end of the episode right there. But then you are rewarded with a performance of Mary Mary, just the band.
Yeah.
And it's pretty awesome. And they've got their blue 8-button shirts. It's the first time you see Davy in the episode. He's up there. A couple times he's shaking maracas when no maracas are being shaken. But
Yes, it's true.
that's more on the editor than on David Jones, I'd say.
Probably, yeah.
And there's a super close up of Mickey. That's kind of unnerving. Like it's like just his face, like from his eyebrows to bottom of his mouth kind of thing.
That when he does the yelling at the end, Mary Mary. I think.
Kind of, yeah. And it's in the middle. I think it's just to show like he's not playing the drums and singing, but they don't want to show that, so they just go super
maybe.
close on his face and do that. And Mike's in the blue hat. This is where he's in the blue hat,
Yeah.
matching the blue shirts. And Peter's playing bass with his thumb like way up on the neck. And Davy's just giving her on maracas.
Oh, yeah.
Davy's loving.
It's his job.
It is, and he does it well. Maracas in my business, man.
This is
And then when that's done, there's an interview piece.
Hey.
Essentially just talking to Davy about why he wasn't in the episode. And he says, oh, I had to go to my sister's wedding. But then he says he missed it. He was 2 days early for the wedding. It's like, bro, it's
Look,
your
they don't
sister's
have
wedding.
cell phones, man.
Yeah,
It's probably on the postcard. It said the 26th, but it was an 8. But it looked like a 6. Something like that.
I couldn't tell,
like you were
man.
saying, this is different times. There's no instantaneous overseas communication. It's tougher times, man.
Yeah,
Could
I
have
don't
been
know.
anything.
Too many birds on his mind, I think.
She's got my jacket.
But anyway,
Yeah.
this little Davy part at the end, he explains the wedding thing. But then also Davy does a little frustration act where he gets all mad about stuff. And I think during all this, he racks up probably a little more screen time than Peter Tork did in this episode. And Peter was actually in it.
Yeah, I think so too. You hear someone scream Peter during the interview.
That was Peter.
Bloody Davy, you idiot. That's why I had a fit. Call me Peter. Peter. Out of all three of us, Peter, man. Peter.
Oh,
But anyway.
fantastic.
Yeah, and then you hear Mickey laughing at the end of the interview.
Good night, Davy.
Like off camera, you just hear Mickey laughing. But anyway, so yeah, that's the episode. Overall thoughts on the episode. How do you feel?
It was good. I think it was way better than the Prince and the Pauper episode.
100%. Yeah.
Even though we do recycle a lot of our gangsters and guns situations.
Yeah.
Jesus, if we counted it, it'd be like at least a quarter to a third of these episodes.
Yeah, we should definitely look
Gangsters
into that.
And or guns. So far. Well, maybe more.
Yeah.
But no, it's Mickey gets to carry the episode. The boys, the like Peter and Mikey get to do a couple funny things. But this one's mostly Mickey's episode, and he really knocks it out the park. His first chance.
I agree. It's definitely cool to see Mickey get to just own it and not be hilarious hijinks Mickey the whole time.
Yeah,
it was cool. And I feel like you start to feel more so in the next episode, but in this episode you start to feel the pull of season 2. Like it's starting, they're starting to feel more like those monkeys than the early monkeys. Like going through these rompy tropes, they're now getting more into like making fun of themselves, making fun of these tropes. And
their personalities are starting to come through. And
yeah, it's great. Okay, guns in the episode. Oh yes, guns everywhere in this episode. This episode makes up for the last episode not having guns, I think.
Probably.
I'm talking about the Pool It Live episode, obviously. I'm sure if that was filmed in Florida, there was at least one gun in that place.
Absolutely. Come on now.
Highlight of the show, for me, the has been is part, I think is hilarious. I always find my highlights of shows are like lines of the show, like tiny little thing rather than like a big scene or something.
That's all you need. Like, I think mine for this one is when Mike screams "boom" in Peter's face. Boom!
I also had Mike shaking his head no at the police station.
That's pretty good too.
But yeah, the boom in Peter's face is funny. Was there a monkey's ruse? I guess Mickey's whole thing was a ruse.
The whole deal, and then the boys being the specialists.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of rusing going on.
And fourth wall break. Mickey at the end with the earring, and also when the camera goes behind him and he gives it a little look over his shoulder. That was pretty funny too. I didn't see it till the second time I watched it. I noticed that part. Best musical moment, Mary Mary performance, I think is awesome.
For sure. I agree.
Yeah, Kind of Girl I Could Love is also good. Just a song to hear it is cool. It's not like I'm a believer again or something.
Yeah.
But no, the performance was the best. Classic Monkees moment, Mickey's gangster impression.
Yeah.
He doesn't go so Cagney though, I guess.
No, I think that would have got old real quick if Babyface
if he just Cagney the whole time.
Thing. Yeah. Nah.
Oh.
I think they dialed it back. I was feeling they might have tried it. Because it's too much of a coincidence that he's a gangster and not doing Cagney, you know? So he might have, I think they tried it. They're like, cut. You can't do this whole episode. It's fun for a minute at a time. But
I want to shoot myself.
Give me, you dirty rat, for 22 minutes. Nah, forget
it. What wouldn't fly in 2020?
I don't know.
I don't know either. It seems pretty tame.
Yeah, this one's all right, I think.
Mickey accidentally opening the girl's bathroom door, but even then,
maybe.
That's the closest thing.
I don't know if you let a guy into a gangster's jail cell.
Maybe not.
I don't know.
Yeah. The joke about the key going between the boobs isn't safe, maybe.
No. That's
depends what network you're watching.
Correct, yeah.
All right. So here we are. We're at the Did You Knows. One we've already talked about. Davy's written out of the episode to not attend his sister's wedding, apparently. Man, the bridesmaids must have been so sad when they go there and Davy's supposed to be there and he's not. Oh, man. I bet you Davy's pretty sad to not go there to see all the bridesmaids either.
Yeah, probably.
Man, to show up at a wedding after you've gotten super crazy famous and you're 20 years old.
Oh.
I don't think I'm coming home, man.
Wall-to-wall beds.
Yeah. One more other thing is when they say who drove the getaway car, and he says Steve Blauner, that's a friend of the producers of the series, and he went on to executive produce The New Monkees in 1987.
Oh, wow.
Very weird.
That's pretty good.
So he should be in jail for a couple things.
Well played, Paco. Well played. I like that one. I got a couple. Did you knows?
Nice.
There was, we're at the station. There was a scene they shot that they didn't use outside the station with Mickey and Mike. And part of that scene is Mike happy and clapping. And they don't use it in the episode, but they use it for the season 2 intro.
Okay, when you just described it, I was like, wait, I know that scene. Huh.
So like this is them just kind of using the footage that doesn't get used specifically in the show, but they found a spot for it.
Interesting.
Yeah. And also, they're at the end, when Bert or Bob or whoever, or James, whoever's talking to Davy, asks, "Hey, Davy, why weren't you in this episode?" And Davy says, "Alias Micky Dolenz." That's the only time in the series that the title is mentioned in an episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. That's cool, because I did notice him when he says it. I was like, oh, okay. So, because they obviously weren't talking to him when they were shooting the episode, because he's not there.
No.
Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I think that's my Did You Knows.
Nice. And that's that pretty much wraps it up. We are not doing the Woolhat of Mystery. This
No.
We're doing something different. You came up with this. I'll let you intro this part.
Yeah, the hat's in the wash. So we can't use it right now. But our friends on the YouTube channel, our chief YouTube correspondents, Mr. James Age, or Lord Jimmerton, as he likes me to call him, and Woolhat One. These they got some good ideas and suggestions and stuff. And one of them is how come the countdown doesn't have some of the deeper cuts? And you're right. Like, part of being a Monkees fan is appreciating the stuff that's not on the albums and finding these lost classic songs. And so we're gonna do what's called an honorary slip in, term coined by Paco when we honorarily slipped in I'm a Believer. But these will be honorary slip-ins of some of the non-official album single songs that Paco and I enjoy. We have not discussed beforehand which ones we're going to do, but we're going to do this a few times and get some of the classic, lost classics onto the countdown, because some of these are definitely deserving of a spot, I'd say.
100%, yeah. There's a few that I even was thinking, ooh, when are we going to pull this out of the hat? I was like, oh, wait a minute, it's not on an album.
Might not be in the hat, yeah.
Alrighty. So
I think you can do the first one, Paco.
Oh, really?
You go ahead. I'd love to hear what you got to say.
All right. So I am going to go with St. Matthew. I think it's on Missing Links 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The yellow disc of the box set.
Yeah.
I don't think it's on a record. I think
that's
you got
what
a
threw
good
me
one.
off,
And
because it was on the
that
box
is a
set.
good one, though. That is a great tune.
She walks around on brass rings that never touch her feet. She speaks in conversations that never are complete. And looking over past things that she has never done, she calls herself St. Matthew when she is on the run.
Yes, I really like St. Matthew a lot.
Awesome.
A Nesmith ditty, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it's another one of those Monkees tunes that no one would really know unless you really like the Monkees. But it would fit on that amazing playlist or album or whatever you could put together with all of those kind of different songs. Not just Mike's songs, but I think Mike would dominate those records because he made the most interesting kind of songs out of that.
It's true.
Even if he's not singing on them, like daily, nightly kind of thing.
Yeah. 100%.
Right. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome. So I would definitely go St. Matthew myself.
It's a good one. And we heard that at the Mike and Mickey show, I think.
Yeah.
Didn't we? Yeah.
I think so.
And
Kind of knock
there was
the
that
socks
kind
off.
of show where they'll dust off like the fan favorite deep cuts.
Yeah.
She sits down together, hardly shattered thin. Knows that when it's over, it will start again. About the time she smiled, it was a portrait of the sun. She calls herself St. Matthew when she's on the run.
And even on the new live record, the Tapioca Tundra has that kind of like samba feel to it, and it really added to it. So it's really awesome. And I feel like St. Matthew was it didn't sambify it, but it was like that same kind of like, holy man, I can't believe they're playing this right now.
For real. It was great. There were a few moments like that. And
Yeah.
pretty much every Monkey show, all the modern Monkey shows, that the people buying the tickets are the people who have all these damn songs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just I'm a Believer in Clarksville. It's like you go in there, you're like, maybe they'll play one of these way deep songs, and they deliver. Like, they deliver a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, if they just gave you a greatest hits best of set, you'd leave being bummed out.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, man, come on. Hit me, Mike, hit me.
Well, for my tune, it's a bit different. It's a bit earlier on, and it's kind of a weird part of the story. It never made it on a record, and everybody tried to sing it. It's I Don't Think You Know Me.
Ooh, that's a great song.
If you think I want the life you choose to live, I don't think I want the love you've got to give. If you think my goals would be so trivial and small, well, I don't think you know me at all.
It's a great song, and it's from a Mike session. Mike produced the session, and apparently he made Carole King cry at some point. Boom! She wrote the song, her and Jerry Goffin, and like they have Mike sing it.
I don't think you know me at all.
You can find a version of Mickey singing it.
I don't think you know me at all.
And you can find a version of Peter singing it.
I don't think you know me at all.
I think I prefer the Peter one.
I'm in the same boat.
It works with his kind of vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
There's something to it where he's just kind of like a defensiveness, but a vulnerable defensiveness to it, and it's got the right vibe with Peter singing it.
Yeah.
And it's got the best the bridge when they do the la la part, and you can hear
so
Mickey and Davy, and that's of the three versions that for some reason that one's got the best la la. And so that's my choice.
Nice. No, that's a great one. I think I'll cut this out if I'm incorrect, but I feel like the Peter version was on one of the Rhino reissues that had the more tracks. Like
I think they've all popped up on like the very first, like the Monkees reissue with like the 30 tracks on it. Yeah. They got the Mickey vocal or the Mike vocal, and they're they're all out there on something.
Yeah.
By now.
I wonder why there's no Davy version. I wonder why he never.
I don't think you know me, babe.
I don't think you know me at all. You don't at all.
Maybe they did, and they just don't have it.
Yeah, it'll come out on the 75th anniversary issue.
Gotta save something for the next one.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
2066. They're gonna bring out the 100th anniversary of the Monkees.
For real.
Not too far away. No, but that's a really great song.
But hey, good choices. And now we get to stick them in the countdown.
I was gonna say, where are we gonna put these in the countdown now?
Where are we gonna put these? For all the way from Porpoise Song to I'll Love You Forever. But where would we put? Let's start with St. Matthew.
So Dreamworld is 25. Do you feel it goes above?
Better than Dreamworld. We're talking St. Matthew right now? I think St. Matthew is better than Gonna Buy Me a Dog. I would listen to it before Daydream Believer. I'd listen to it before Clarksville. Or Zam. It's in the Righting Wrongs, looking for the good times area for sure.
It's almost like I like Righting Wrongs as a song because it's so crazy, but I'd probably listen to St. Matthew before it just because it's breezier.
All right. Let's pop it in there for now. Insert.
Boom. So at number 18, St. Matthew comes in between Righting Wrongs and Looking for the Good Times.
How about that?
I'm blown away. Gonna Buy Me a Dog is so high up.
It's a jam, man. It might have been right after we watched the dogs, the video for it, where it's like just adorable dogs who are for sure dead by now.
Yeah, that's surprising.
And I Don't Think You Know Me goes up, I think. I like it a lot. It's going to be right around here, too.
Yeah, I agree. So we got Papa Jean's Blues at 15. And then Valerie's 10. And then in between, if I'm a Believer, Stepping Stone, For Pete's Sake, Randy Skouskit.
I'm going to put it right under Take a Giant Step. Maybe we move it later, but I'm going to put it there.
The number 17 spot, pushing St. Matthew to 19 instantly.
Dang. Our first honorary slip in. Will we have a jingle for this by the time it airs? I don't know. Maybe.
I hope so. It just has to be super quick. Honorary slip in.
But that's
okay.
That, and that's good, and that's a fun way to get a couple more tunes in, and it'll prevent us from running out of tunes for the countdown. So I think, I think this is cool, and it'll get us to talk about some of our favorite songs.
Yeah, the ones that could have slipped by. Instead, they're going to slip in.
Yes, and I think maybe we'll get to like a dozen of them, because not all of those songs are going to make the countdown.
Yeah. When you said it's kind of an earlier cut, I'm like, is he going with apples, peaches, bananas, and pears right now?
No, nay.
Apples, peaches.
But that's another good example of something we might hear from. That's that.
Yeah, okay. So fantastic. Yeah. So we have I Don't Think You Know Me at 17 and St. Matthew at 19. The new additions to the countdown.
Hooray.
Huzzah. Okay, well, thank you for coming to check us out on our new Zoomy podcasts.
Yeah, and thank you all for listening to the our Pool It special, which is a surprise smash hit on our YouTube channel and elsewhere. And I think we pushed that original Pool It live video all the way from 1.3K to 1.4K. That's the Podcast Valley Sunday bump.
There it is, folks. Right there.
Yeah.
I bet you Micky Dolenz noticed and was like, what's this all about?
Absolutely. We're on the radar, folks.
Finally, 1,400 views. All right, everybody. So from me, Paco.
And me, Jeff.
Have yourselves a Monkees little evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, Monkees fans. With everything going on with social distancing, Podcast Valley Sunday will be on every 2 weeks. We hope you're staying safe, we hope you're staying at home, and we hope that you're listening to the Monkees and obviously Podcast Valley Sunday. You can check us out on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. And please, rate us and leave a message. We'd love to hear from you. But, as always, be gentle with us. We're very sensitive.